Sorry, that's my bell. Or maybe once like that, or, you know. I saw some meditation videos on YouTube with it. Start with a bell. And so I got that. But anyway, this talk is called Just Be. This meditation, this talk is called Just Be. The ecstasy is here. And I always say welcome to another meditation, because that's what my talks are. You see? My talks are unique, you know, where my talks are meditations. And not all and you might say next, you know, aren't all talks meditations? No. You know, because meditation, when you meditate, you're tapping into the higher self. Not everyone that does talks is tapping in and tuning into the higher self. You see, the true self, you know, the core essence of who you are, you know, you can call it Kundalini, Tantric awareness, you know, that's the core essence. You know, within it is peace, tranquility, aliveness, joy, euphoria, orgasmicness, bliss, basically. And that's the core essence. But the problem is, and the reason why it takes practice to get there, is because we have been programmed to not be that energy field, our natural core essence. And the reason we're not is because we've been psychologically manipulated, programmed to be the opposite to that. And that's why the mass spiritual awakening is the biggest threat. That's really what we're seeing on the planet, is the reaction, the energetic reaction. We're seeing the fallout from the awakening. The spiritual awakening on the planet officially started in 2012. That's when the energy changed. There was people, chosen ones before then, but that's when the energy officially changed. That's when I had my unexpected spiritual awakening, and others also. And, you know, the people that have had these spiritual awakenings, they are going back to their core essence. Right? That's what's happening. And the system doesn't want that to happen, because that would mean bliss. And you return, you know, they don't want you to return to who you truly are. Right? That's it, and that's all you need to know. And so, but they can't stop it, because God even created them. God, you know, it's all like stories and it's like a movie / story, / dream. And that's basically what it is. And the people that are trying to control, they don't know that yet. They haven't spiritually awakened yet. And you might say, oh, they're evil. Yeah, but even evil comes from us. All life comes from a source. You see? And that source is what some people call God. And the God, see, it's not that everything came from nothing, but everything came from the miracle power that's within the nothing that makes the something. So that's where all life came from. There's a miracle light of consciousness within nothingness that manifests and is life, and ultimately you are a single life form, is that. You see? But back to the talking hand, just be, the ecstasy is here. And that's basically what we're reprogramming our brains to do. We're going back to our core essence. And so it's a lot of practice. The people have to have spiritual awakenings, and they're the teachers. And the real genuine teachers, as I've said many times, are those that will not tell you that they are the messiahs, but within you is the Messiah. I'm not a religious follower, but apparently, the story is that Jesus Christ was alive and he would do talks, and the people said, "Where is this God?" And he said, "Within you." Right? And why did they misunderstand him? Because they wanted to misunderstand. They still want to misunderstand him because it's easier to have a savior than it is to go within. You see? And that's why you've got to have chosen ones. Because most people are not willing to take responsibility. It's like that line from the John Lennon song, God is a concept by which we measure our pain. And what that means in English is we use this God, this separate saviour thing to hide behind. And the truth of the matter is that you have to be your own saviour. That you have to return to your core essence. And that core essence, it's so abundant and rich that the system can never compare with that. That's why they're trying to create all that they're doing. But what they don't realise is that it's all part of a movie where God is the prevailer. The light is the prevailer. Christ is it's that's the prevailing force in the end. And so it's like when you go through a spiritual awakening process, you realise why that had happened, that had happened, that had happened. So that's basically what's going on. And the people that are having the spiritual awakenings now will be the rulers, like Jesus Christ said, that the chosen ones, 144,000, would rule the kingdom of heaven with him. You see? And so basically, Christ consciousness basically is the source core essence of who you are. They do wish that they could crucify that, but you can't, because it even created the evil. It all comes from that, good and bad. And so, just now on the planet, there's a mass Kundalini spiritual awakening going on. And you can't stop it. And that Kundalini force, what is that? Well, it's not some separate God. It's actually your true state of being. But like I say, it's because we have been programmed to not be that. So when you have that big spiritual awakening, you start to go through an inner healing path. And then what happens is you're returning to your core essence. And that core essence is a peaceful state. It's peaceful, it's calming, but also it's alive, it's euphoric, it's orgasmic, it's bliss, it's joy. Imagine in your mind what heaven would feel like. Bliss and the kind of thing people chase when they take chemicals or take drugs. But the reason they're chasing it is because it feels familiar to them. Right? That's what they're liking. It's because they remember. Deep within their psyche, they remember who they are. And that's what is arising on the planet. And this core essence of who we are is what we're returning to. This 5 to 8 hertz, this love frequencies, this tantric, orgasmic frequencies is arising more and more. And this is ultimately, like I say, what they're trying to stop, but it's just part of the movie. That's ultimately what it is. It's just part of the movie, and we can already see where the movie's heading. It's heading in the direction. It's also, like I've said before, that people talk about twin flames, soulmates, romance as part of the ascension journey. And that's why we're seeing that more and more. If you look at the twin flame thing, and Jordan Peterson says that there's been studies done on women, and they're very into vampire movies. But if you look at the twin flames, the vampires, twin flames, it's their vampire story is they've been in love for thousands of years, and it's like that kind of bond, and with a twin flame very similar. So you see there's a connection there, and that's why we're seeing this twin flame mania. And the system can't compete with that. The system can't compete with this awakening and what it gives, and so that's why you were seeing all these computer inventions and all that stuff. But you can't compare with a woman, having an energy orgasm, and that's what they can't compete with. You can't compete with that. And that is a metaphor. The woman having the energy orgasm, that is a metaphor for what's happening on the planet. Imagine that happening en masse, and this is what they don't want. And so don't talk about political things. If you're someone listening to this that does talks, do not talk about political things, because that's how they can identify you and put you off social media. Don't talk about anything like that, because that's a distraction. The real thing that they're trying to distract everyone away from is your core essence. And the AI doesn't understand that stuff. You see? Doesn't understand it. That's why it will never be able to compare with human beings, because of our core essence. It doesn't have a core essence like that. And that's the truth. So don't worry about anything that they're doing. The present moment is the way back to your core essence. See, they want you in an erratic state. But the core essence of who you are is found in relaxation and calmness, because within there is the real ecstasy, which is your core essence, tantric energy, your tantric awareness. That's the true self. And so basically it's like the topic of this talk, just be. The ecstasy is here. And I think I'll just leave it on that note. For latest updates, talks, news, research, and much more, please do visit my website. All my new talks are always located at the top of my homepage on my website. My website address is www.lovelightfamily.com. You can also donate if you would like to. My Cash App cash tag is # Love Light Family 1111. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you.